And then it was done. It was over. Cap and gown, walk off the stage or on the field. And then seniors are college kids. What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great summer. This is our football edition of Quick Hits Summer Special, top 5 games that we saw this year. And the voting was intense. Yeah, I did. I voted. Cavallo, couldn't find him. Couldn't find Dylan Butler, don't know where he was. Couldn't find any of the guys. Devaney on a golf course. Kinney and Lerner, I don't know. Nah, these guys are all great. Kind of put our heads together, did this thing. So school is out, and I was taken to school last week. I made the huge mistake last week, me being a Connecticut guy, just sinful, that I referred to Quinnipiac as the Braves. Well, everybody knows, as I found out, because this beautiful, special young lady we have working here, Amanda, the pride of Our Lady of Mercy, she came in and she just read me the riot act. So all of a sudden, she comes in this morning, her voice is hoarse because she went to this wedding this weekend and must have had a wonderful time. And she comes into my little cubicle and says, I need you to, okay, Amanda, I got you. Whatever you needed me to do. She's the big social media queen here. And she said, quick, read it. So here's what we have. We're going to get everybody involved now, just in the summer and throughout, because this girl's a spitfire, okay? And she told me to say this. Join the conversation on Twitter by tweeting us at MSG_varsity and using the hashtag MSGV_top5. Now, if you give us a good tweet, she may retweet it, but she's tough. So if it's just a lukewarm tweet, she's not gonna, but she may respond to you, say, get in the game. So that's it. Very fun football season. When you start doing lists, obviously the game has to be competitive. There has to be some drama. Everybody knows me. I'm referred to as the Jersey guy. I live in Connecticut. It's going to be very interesting to see what the #1 game in the Tri-State is this year. We had some dandies. We had some upsets. We had some teams that we kind of wrote off that made their way back in. And yeah, there was a Sasquatch sighting too on Long Island the weekend before Thanksgiving. Here we go. At number 5, the 5th best game that we saw this year at MSG Varsity. Let's go. Up to Fairfield University. They were playing for the first time in 20 years. Fairfield Prep and St. Joe's. Started out pretty good for Prep. That touchdown gives them a 7-6 second quarter lead. But then my man Jordan Vazano starts lighting it up to Shane Miller. One of his 3 receptions, had 180 yards in receptions this game. He was incredible. Cadets up 12-7. They go up 18-7. Remember this name, Lars Pedersen. Big catch there. Now Prep comes all the way back up 34-30. Time running out. Final play of the game. Look at the big arm right there. Jordan Vazano to Pedersen. No time left. St. Joe's wins a magical 36-34 victory over their arch rivals from Fairfield Prep. When I started in this business 27 years ago, that was the game that got me excited. When I worked at Cablevision doing sidelines all those years ago, you'd go up to Alumni Hall, you'd go up to St. Joe's in Trumbull, thousands and thousands of people. Teams went their different ways. St. Joe's and Prep, different ways. The old MBAC dissolved. This was great. 6,000 people at Fairfield U. And I hope they continue to do this. They're going to play again this year, the FCAC SEC Challenge. It was great. It's a 2-year deal. Hopefully Prep and St. Joe's somehow can figure out how to play all the time. Vazano in that game was flat out spectacular. 29 of 45, 379 and 5 touchdowns. Pedersen, 7 catches, a $112 and 2. Shane Miller, as we said, 180 yards on 11 catches, 3 touchdowns. Now, that game was the 2nd or 3rd game of the year for both teams. Both would have wonderful seasons. St. Joe's would go on and just rout Brookfield in the Class M state title. Vazano special again. Didn't have to throw it a lot that game because they jumped up so early. And Fairfield Prep played the state final on December 19th at West Haven High School. Think about that. Christmas was just a week away. There was still high school football. It was great. They were up against Southington at the half. Southington, a terrific football team, ended Prep season. So St. Joe's beats Prep at Fairfield that day on the last play of the game. Prep goes on to play in the state final, lose. St. Joe's play in the state final and win. St. Joe's only 2 losses this year to a very good New Canaan team. And in our small school final top 15, the cadets of St. Joe's, Coach Della Vecchia's cadets, finished 13-2 and number 3 in the tri-state. At number 4, we stay in Connecticut. Just an unbelievable rivalry game. This one has never been discontinued. They'll play it forever. Most years, as of late, it's been on Thanksgiving, and anybody who knows about New Canaan and Darien knows that those 2 towns, they don't like each other. That's why this football game is good. The communities embrace this game. A year ago, Darien beat New Canaan on Thanksgiving. You go back to the preseason, and I went up to New Canaan to watch them scrimmage, and I knew right away this had the potential to be one of the great teams Lou Marinelli ever coached. They had personnel. Their defense at times overlooked because of the way their offense scored and scored and scored, but their defense is what was so special this year. I remembered saying, I'm put a face on it going into this game, that Darien just had to figure out a way to keep it close, not to get embarrassed. And when you think about that, Darien was a team that had played 11 games going into Thanksgiving. They only lost 1 to St. Joe's. New Canaan, perfect, 11-0. This was an interesting year because in New Canaan, if you played in a league championship and got all the way to the state finals because of the quarterfinals and you had an extra game, you had an opportunity to win 15 games. I said, I think on the second Quick Hit show this year, that New Canaan High School would play 15 games this year and win all 15. They didn't. That's why New Canaan Darien, the Turkey Bowl, is the 4th best game this year that we saw in the Tri-State. First play of the game is over. Nick Cassione, what a year he had from Marinelli to Alex LaPolice. Just like that, seconds into the game, the Rams up 7-0. Second quarter, same score. This guy right here, competitor, Silas Wiper to slick Nick Lombardo. Lombardo has a little bit of shake to his game. Gets it down to the 1-yard line where Wiper did this a lot on this day. Give me the ball. Called his own number, went in, point after good. We're tied at 7. Same score, Cassione now. Look at this pitch and look at this catch by Cole Turpin. Over the shoulder, 40-yard gain. Cassione said, hey, Wiper, I can call my own number too. He does, 3-yard touchdown, 14-7 Rams. That's the way it was at the half. Third quarter, look at Wiper step up in the pocket, and Johnny Reed, the Cornell-bound lacrosse player, 61-yard catch and carry, gets it deep. And guess what the play call was? Trafone said, hey, Wipe, do it yourself. And there Wiper does. He cleans it up, tied it at 14 with the 1-yard touchdown. Here's your play of the game right here. New Canaan deep in their own territory, punting when Mark Ivanchek, the wonderfully talented sophomore defensive lineman, comes up with the block. And guess what? Moments later, this game ain't tied anymore. Wiper, 1-yard touchdown. We've seen that. Point after good, 21-14. Early fourth, Darien up by those 4. Look at this play. Wiper stepping up in the pocket, but Zach Allen says, no, 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 no. The junior who just recently committed to Northwestern, check out the replay. He comes off the edge, literally takes the ball right out of Silas's hand, returns it for the touchdown, point after good, ball game, 24-21. Not so fast. Wiper brings him right down the field. Couple big third down completions. Jay Harrison caps the 17-play, 66-yard drive, 28-24. Closing seconds of the game. Cassione broken up by Griffin Ross, and that would be the final. 28-24, an unbelievable victory for Darien High School on Thanksgiving Day. Now, yes, they would go on to meet again on that snowy Saturday in Stamford for the Class L state title. And New Canaan thoroughly dismantled Darien. That's why that game, to me, is so big, because the way they beat them so easily, you can say, and I've said it and I will stay with it, by Darien winning on Thanksgiving. And yes, New Canaan won the FCAC title. They won the Class L title, beating Darien in a rematch of that Thanksgiving game. Doesn't matter. Darien's victory over New Canaan ruined a big part of their season. So Darien, with the victory on Thanksgiving, would get the top seed in the L playoffs. New Canaan would fall to the 3, and as I said, they would meet on that snowy afternoon at Boyle Stadium. And here's the amazing thing when you think about this game. Darien won this football game, turning the ball over 5 times. Absolutely amazing. So was the play of Ivanchek. So was the play of Wiper. Wiper just stood in there, did the job, and he was pretty calm after the game.
I think just bringing Darien football back to the place they should be, at the top of the FCIAC, and I think we kind of proved that today, beating the #1 team in New Canaan. I think we got a lot of respect for the program heading into the future. We knew our defense had been playing so great. The offense had to step up and put the nail in the coffin with that final score, and we did that. We just ground and pound, ran the ball hard. Ate up the clock because we knew they have a great offense. We didn't want to give it back to them too much time, and it ended well, obviously.
It sure did. Silas Wiper, a terrific, terrific young man. Speaking of young men, one of the best young defensive linemen in the Tri-State, one of the best athletes, period, is Mark Ivanchek. Well, Jimmy was up getting ready for a lacrosse game this spring, and we said, Jim, come on, go interview Ivanchek. He had the huge play in that game where he blocked the punt, tied at 14, and all of a sudden momentum swung in the Blue Waves' favor. JC caught up with the Big E.
Well, it's not too often in the state of Connecticut that a sophomore is one of the best football players in the state, but number 90 in your Darien program, Mark Ivanchek, certainly is for the Blue Wave of Darien. And let's face it, Mark, when Griffin Ross knocks down that ball, the dream was real. That Darien could beat New Canaan, a New Canaan team that many people thought was invincible.
I mean, looking back at that game, Coach Shea told us all the way that no one outside of our family believed that we could win this game, and we'd circled that game on a calendar even after we finished the Turkey Bowl last year. I mean, we wanted to repeat, and we knew they were going to be a great team this year. So Coach T really prepared us well for that game, and after I saw Griffin knock that pass down, it's just a sense of I don't even have the words to describe it. Just pure joy, I guess, would be the only way to describe it.
Yeah, Coach Rob Trefone here at Darien knows that when people defend Darien, they're going to try and slow down Mark Ivanchek, and that's what New Canaan was trying to do that day. You had your hands full on that morning.
Yeah, so New Canaan's offensive line was great. All the credit to them. They threw a lot of different blocking schemes at us, and it's definitely difficult to try and cause some disruption, but I think the defense as a whole did a great job slowing them down.
It's funny. Thanksgiving football is so great because, it depends on where you are. Some places it's great because it's Thanksgiving morning and you're playing high school football. Other places it's great because it brings alumni, family, friends together. And in some places it's great because the matchup is a rivalry. It's about competition. It's about, two teams who are sort of after the same pot of gold. And here in Darien, that Darien-New Canaan game is all three of those. It has everything. The Turkey Bowl is an amazing event here.
Yes, it's the atmosphere surrounded with the Turkey Bowl is outstanding. I mean, whether you play at New Canaan or Darien, it's always a loud game. There's always something on the line, bragging rights. Just to have your family back to see that game and all the alumni, really, it adds some pressure, but it's a good pressure.
I'm sure there's a New Canaan guy watching this going, yeah, but in the end, we won the title. And that's true. And all due respect to the Rams, they did hoist the hardware that season as the champs. But what you guys achieved on that day was really kind of, adjusting the history of high school football, because that New Canaan team was going to make history if they achieved perfection. And perfection they did not achieve.
No, they didn't. But in the state championship, they obviously were easily the best team in Connecticut. They had great players all around. But really in the Turkey Bowl, that was our main focus. We didn't know we were going to play in the state championship against them, and it was great too. But obviously our main focus was just to win that one game and hopefully make it back and maybe see them again. We didn't succeed in the end, but it was still it's always a great rivalry.
They were the perfect team coming into that game, and that's why they looked so unbeatable and so destined to achieve that perfect season.
They definitely did. They really didn't have a weak spot. We'd go through film and we'd try and find one, but there really wasn't. I mean, we knew we had to play a perfect game to win on Thanksgiving, and we did. We almost did. I mean, we really had everything working for us. It just came down to that final drive by New Canaan, that final drive by us that really kind of set it up.
For the Blue Wave, they would finish the year at 12-2, both losses to state champs. New Canaan, the Class L champ, St. Joe's, the Class M champ. Switching from our fourth game to our third best game. And when the people at Yankee Stadium decided to create the Pinstripe Bowl to bring college football to the Northeast, it was a wonderful idea. What they've done to tune up for that game is try to work out the kinks by allowing the New York City Public School Athletic League to play their football championship there about 2 weeks before the Pinstripe Bowl game is played. What they've gotten are better high school football games than the college football games. The games in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium for the PSAL championship in back-to-back years have been absolute thrillers, unless you wear purple and white. Because for Tottenville, they have lost consecutive one-point heartbreakers. When I watched Lincoln High School in the preseason, I told Sean O'Connor, I said, I think you guys have the makings of a perfect football team. And I also said, wow, I like the kid number 13. Now, goofy me, I did not realize that every kid was wearing the number 13 because O'Connor, with that twinkle in his eye, had that same idea. Every guy wore 13 because they were going to play 13 games. That was the plan. And if they did, they would be back at Yankee Stadium to try to win a PSAL championship. They won one in 2011. This team had everything. They had speed, they had toughness, they had power, they had intelligence, they understood the game of football. They could play fast when they had to. They could play slow. It was very close to the perfect football team. And on Tuesday night, December 10th at Yankee Stadium, it looked like they would win this title easily. And then the Pirates made it a game. The third best game we saw this year, the PSAL championship, out at the big ballpark in the Bronx. First drive for Lincoln, my man Leroy Hansel. Man, this dude is a load. Good yardage up the middle to set up Antoine Holloman. The A-Train brings it in from a yard out, and the Rail Splitters, 4 minutes into the game, were up 6-0. And check out Hansel here. Griddle! Just a steamroll touchdown into the end zone. They go for 2-point conversion. They get it. So they're up 14-0 after the first quarter. Josh Rainey, great-looking junior quarterback for Lincoln, here over the middle to Devin Martin, makes the nice catch down to the 10-yard line. So Tottenville, they're right back in it until Brendan Murphy, and he had an unbelievable year, can't hold on. Momentum gone in a hurry, especially when Javon Moore, Spanky, goes over the middle, finds Carlos Stewart, the 24-yard touchdown, made it 20-0 with 3 minutes left in the half. Get on the subway, this game is over. Not so fast. Rainey. Look at him stand in the pocket. Look at the protection, and that's the coach's kid. The Navy-bound Jimmy Munson Jr. with a huge play here. The 60-yard catch and carry brings it down to the 13. When Andrew Russo would take it in from a yard out, Tottenville, with $1:15 left in the first half, they are on the board, a little bit of life, down just 20-7. So they were content? No, they weren't. Check out John Fischetti. This is Staten Island toughness. You ain't bringing the ball up here to run out the clock. Number 44 picks it up with the strip, brings it back 65 yards. Their second touchdown in just 15 seconds made it 20-14 with 25 seconds left in the half. Now in the third, Lincoln back to punt, doesn't work. Tottenville will get the ball at the 42-yard line just moments in to the third quarter, when Munson, the Admiral, brings it in 19 yards from Rainey, tie the game at 20, 7 minutes left in the third. PAT no good, so it stayed that way. Now the Tottenville defense, they were feeling it. Javon Wright makes the interception for the Pirates, and that put them in good field position right out there at second base. And on 2nd and 18, Rainey to Dion Barnes. Look at that little jump pass there. Barnes, good job coming back to the football, gets it down to the 5-yard line. When on 4th and goal, Tottenville elects to go for the fake field goal. Munson's pass falls incomplete. We stay tied at 20. 3rd and 8 in the fourth quarter. Devin Martin. Look at this catch he's going to make from Rainey. Look at the poise Rainey shows. The junior gets out of pressure, points to Martin, tells him to release, goes down the field, and that would get them the first down. And on 3rd and goal, Rainey. Oh, I love the way he surveyed the field. Hansel makes a commitment inside. The junior steps outside, scoots into the end zone, 10 yards, point after good, 27-20, 8:21 left. Right back comes Lincoln. Their offense had been, well, they had gone Rip Van Winkle for a while until Spanky finds Malik Andrews, 61-yard touchdown, 27-26. O'Connor decides to go for two with Holloman. The Pirate defense says no way. So Tottenville's going to get that championship. But with just under 5 minutes left, back to punt, the snap sails over the punter's head, and Lincoln takes a 28-27 lead. A thriller. 2:30 left, Tottenville not going down without a fight. They knew what the heartache of a one-point loss felt the year before. Look at Rainey navigate in the pocket, pass interference. On a 3rd and 10, they get the first down. Now with under 2 minutes left, a 4th and 3. The give to Andrew Russo. He bulls his way for a first down. Now it's 3rd down again. Tottenville trying to pick up the first down. Russo stops short of the first down. Now as time is running, Tottenville cannot get their personnel on the field. Munson tries to come up, take the snap and ground it. Time runs out, and Lincoln runs the table, 13 games, 13 wins. Sean O'Connor's guys ring the bell from beginning to end, the best team in the PSAL. To watch Tottenville start the year 1-2, losing to Erasmus on the first day of the season, then getting a blowout win, and then in week 3, bringing Lincoln to Staten Island, and watching them fall apart early in that game, much like the PSAL championship, and then come back to lose the game 26-7 in the regular season. In the second half of the regular season game, I said to Jimmy Munson after the game, you will see this team again if everything breaks right in the PSAL championship. Kendall Puryear is a wonderful football player for Lincoln High School. The problem is God didn't give him 4 or 5 more inches. If he did, he would be a major college recruit at the corner. He has all the tools of the game. He will go to Central Connecticut and have a wonderful 1AA football career. Afterwards, he was excited to have a PSAL title.
This year was successful for the main reason our team stayed focused through down by down, play by play, and we didn't let nothing else bother us through anything. Anything, any team that threw something at us, we came back.
You know, you go back to August, I watched you in the game against New Dorp, and I thought you had the makings of a championship team, and you kind of had that twinkle in your eye. You wouldn't say it, because no coach would, but you knew you had something special.
Yeah, that's why I put 13 on their back on the jerseys. I didn't do that with a lot of other teams. I had a lot of other different teams. This team is a talented team, but you know, we've had better superstars at Lincoln, so to speak, and this was a very deep football team. This is probably one of the deepest football teams I've ever had. We had guys in and out all year, different guys making plays all year.
Very, very tough game for Munson and the Pirates to lose right on the doorstep when time runs out. So Tottenville still looking for their first PSAL title since 2003. O'Connor, it's old hat now for Sean and his guys. That's their second PSAL championship in 3 years. A couple weeks ago, on a beautiful day in Brooklyn, Jimmy caught up with the red-hot skipper from the Rail Splitters.
You know, when you think about fantastic finishes, classic games, theatrical situations, I think first and foremost you need a setting. And to have this championship game at Yankee Stadium, it adds something.
Oh, it was a great setting. All we were missing was Derek Jeter. I mean, you know, Tottenville on the line at Bronx, you know, at Yankee Stadium, it doesn't get better than that.
You know, you come into this game at a perfect 12-0. You're going for perfection. And after 22 minutes of football, there was only 2 minutes left in the second quarter. You're up 20-0 in the game. Everything looked perfect. But then the last 90 seconds of the second quarter changed everything. They got right back in this game with 2 scores.
Yeah, momentum. Football's a game of momentum, you know. But I tell you, it was weird because our kids, up to that point, they were only down once the entire year in the 12 games. One quarter against Erasmus. So there was a lot of pandemonium on the sidelines when we were up. Fighting going on, you know, kids pointing fingers at each other, and it was a little controversy, believe it or not. So when I didn't feel at ease. I really didn't. I felt I know a great team, Tauntonville, at that setting. I didn't feel as though this game was ours yet. But there was one play, you know, that James Munson Jr., Josh Rainey, a connection on the 2-yard line that kind of changed the whole momentum of the game.
It's always about lead changes, the ebb and flow when you talk about a classic. You score the first 20 points in the game, they would score the next 27 points. And now, for only the second time the whole year, you faced a deficit. I mean, give us the temperature of your team at that point.
Well, that's when they clicked into the team that I know they could be. I mean, that's when I really found out a lot about these kids. You know, we were in a lot of games this year. There was no contest, to be quite honest with you. And so I was a little concerned about being in that setting and being behind. And I really found out a lot more about our team being down at that point in that situation. And the kids who were there all year for us, Javon Moore-Spanky, who had hurt his foot on the first play, came through. Malik Andrews, who's always questioned whether he's too fast as a receiver. He doesn't have great hands, catching that touchdown. But our defense also played a great game and kept us in a great field position. And of course, a little luck always helps.
When you have a leader like Javon Moore-Spanky, and he's throwing a couple picks, and he comes to the sidelines, and you know you're still just one play away from getting right where you need to be, what do you tell a kid like that?
You know what? We didn't have to tell him much. He was coming to the sidelines, cool, calm, collected. He was telling us, don't worry, coach, we got this. I'll be all right. Leave me in the game. You know, he did need to come out every couple of snaps. That's why we had Antoine Holloman, a quarterback, a couple of times playing for him. But he kept saying, we're going to be all right. I got this. I can get through this game. And I believe in him because he's been here for 3 years with us, and I've seen him do it over and over and over again.
And then this is where the theater really begins in this game. You score a touchdown, you make it 27-26. You go for 2. Coach Munson, seeing the formation, uses his final timeout. There's 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You don't get the 2, so now the game stays a 1-point deficit for you. In a wild turn of events, you get 2 points on a safety on a bad punt snap, and now you go ahead with 5 minutes left, but you'd still have to hang on for dear life in the end. They took the ball inside your 20-yard line.
Absolutely. I didn't even know the game was over and was over. I was getting my next call in ready until I finally got tackled by somebody. It was right to the end, right to the edge of your seat. I mean, they got a first down on that play, and it seemed like it took forever for them to run the clock because the clock was stopped, and Tauntonville was running on the field trying to get either their field goal team or a play ready, and it felt like that second felt a lot longer than this interview.
And, you know, often in sports, when you have a classic game and both teams are this close to winning, you use the expression, it's a shame somebody had to lose. But somebody did have to lose in that game, but you knew you were part of an absolute classic.
Absolutely. To this day, when I see people who have nothing to do with Lincoln High School, Tauntonville, who came to that game, telling me how it's one of the best high school football games they've seen in their life. And I'm not talking about 19-year-olds. I'm talking about 65 and 70-year-old people. It had a little bit of everything. What else can you ask for? It had everything you want. It even had a Spanky in a Yankee Stadium.
Coach O'Connor, perfection.
Thank you.
Didn't come easy. It was dramatic. It was fun. Your second title in 3 years. Coach Sean O'Connor in Lincoln. What a night at the house that Jeter built, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. As the PSAL can only do, the classic game that ended the season hopefully will be half as good as the one that ended it, because this year, on Friday, September 5th, right off the Belt Parkway at Lincoln High School, the Pirates of Tottenville come to take on the Rail Splitters to get the 2014 PSAL football season started. Let's see. From number 3 to number 2, one team had a 15-game win streak. That team was the number 1 team in the Tri-State. The team, part of their winning streak, they blew out a team on Thanksgiving the year before. Sounds like Don Bosco, right? Yeah, no, it was St. Joe's of Montvale. The juxtaposition was incredible. For all the years doing the polls, we had Don Bosco, I think it was a 7-year run, as the number 1 football team in the Tri-State. And then in the 2012 season, due in large part to Paramus Catholic losing on Thanksgiving and St. Joe's just dismantling Don Bosco, really embarrassing them on Thanksgiving Day at Don Bosco 20-10, where they did to Bosco what Bosco had done to everybody, out-tough them. St. Joe's was on a magical, magical run. Well, this year, they would move the site to St. Joe's, and Bosco would come calling. With the heartache of losing the week before to Paramus Catholic on a game-winning field goal attempt that was just inches wide. Otherwise, they beat Paramus Catholic to move on to the state championship game. And of course, in New Jersey, there's quarterfinal playoffs, semifinal playoffs, Thanksgiving Day game, championship. St. Joe's had everything to play for on this day. Everything. Don Bosco had one thing: pride. I'll make it two. And the chance to ruin St. Joe's season. There are people after the fact that have told me, well, you know, St. Joe's, that was a trap game against Don Bosco. Excuse me? There's no such thing. The next time Don Bosco plays a trap game will be the first time. Think about this. On Thanksgiving morning, Don Bosco took a 6-4 record into Montvale. St. Joe's was undefeated. Another magical year. They win this game, most likely will finish #1 in the tri-state. It was at moments during this football season, for the first time ever, except Greg Toll's first year when he went 7-4, when he took over the program at Don Bosco, that Don Bosco at points of this season was out of our poll. After they lost to DePaul week 4, they were gone. This was not the Don Bosco football team that I had known, that I had watched, that I had seen play and conquer. This was a team in trouble. And somehow, some way, despite 4 losses, they picked it all up on Thanksgiving morning. And the old ball coach, Greg Toll, who loves Thanksgiving Day more than any day of the year, he had his Ironmen ready up in Montvale in front of a national television audience. Bosco, second quarter, tied at 7. Not for long. Davian Ellison, remember that name. 11-yard touchdown, 14-7. Spencer Allcamp. Boy, do I love Spencer. To Boston College-bound Sherman Alston. Look at that catch. Somehow Sherm hangs on, tied it at 14. Same score. Bosco driving when Austin Badrado steps in front, gets the interception. So here comes St. Joe's. They come back down the field on a 4th and 16. They're getting close to the end zone. Ellison breaks up the pass, so that's the way it would stay until 2 minutes left in the half, tied at 14. Frankie Newtile, look at that rip over the middle to Yank. Danny Yankovic sets up this. Time running out in the half. Cameron Beals, oh no, wide again. So that's a tough spot. And here comes St. Joe's and Allcamp. Early third, calls his own number, runs for the first down. They're in the red zone. 4th and goal. Mark Fasati, 1-yard touchdown, 21-14, Green Knights. But on the ensuing kickoff, here's your play of the game. Here's the heartbreaking play of the season for St. Joe's. Ellison, the very talented junior, took the ball and went back 88 yards for the touchdown. The point after good, we were tied at 21. 4th quarter, same score, 3rd and 4. Ellison picks up the first down, finally tackled at the Joe's 31-yard line. 3:25 left in the game. Newtile. This is Temple to Boston College. Tommy Sweeney. 7-yard touchdown. 28-21 Bosco. Same score when Allcamp. What a gamer. Look at the crowd there in Montvale on that beautiful Thanksgiving morning. Hits Austin Barber. Barber's a player. Down to the 42. Then Allcamp on the same drive. 1:23 left. Flips it to Fasati. Fasati brings it down to the Bosco 20-yard line. And on 4th and 2, Allcamp trying to win this game. His ball deflected by Zach Chaconis on the line of scrimmage. And just like that, St. Joe's 15-game winning streak had come to an end. Don Bosco beat them 28-21, holding St. Joe's to a season-low 21 points. After the game, a man of few words had a lot to say, and so did a bunch of his kids. We'll start with Greg Toll, Don Bosco.
I said, hey, we're coming to play, and it's going to be a hell of a game.
How did you know that this team had one more after that heartbreaker a week ago?
Play too hard. Play too hard. I mean, that gave me last week, you know, hey, 2 inches this way and we win the game.
Yeah.
You know, so hey, our kids just fought their ass off, and hey, can anybody tell me there's a better team right now than us? I don't think so.
I mean, my dad always told me, like, adversity makes a man, so I wasn't going to go in the shell and quit when everything happened. I got hurt and stuff, and I just kept fighting. And the team stayed.
I told you.
The team stayed the course, and we were ready to play this game. We were excited. You know what I mean? Last week happened. We couldn't wait for a shot with the #1 team in the state.
Doesn't get any better than that, man. Best day of the year, Thanksgiving. We just came out, man. I'm so proud of my team. I love my team so much, and I had to end, but the way we came out and we ended like this is just nothing better.
Well, before the kickoff even started, I just said I got to take this back. And once I started running, I just saw a hole open up, and I just hit it.
Have you ever had a feeling like that in your athletic career?
No, not at all. It was a great feeling that, like, I played like that, and then going out with a bang for these seniors.
Hey, I tell you what, I was all week. I said we're going to beat them. We're going to beat them, and I just felt it. Our coaches felt it, and I tell you what a great win. You know, and hey, we might be the best team in the tri-state area. So.
Oh, Toll, there's nobody like him. There's absolutely nobody like him. I felt real good for Frankie Newtile. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I saw Frank before he ever played a down of high school football. I went up to watch them practice on Thursday, August 19th, 2010. And I remembered saying, wow, there's 2 Division I football players on this field right now. They've never even played a varsity game. Jabril Peppers, Michigan. And then when you look at Frankie Newtile, Temple. Struggled at times during the year, but in the biggest game of the season, 18 of 25, 196 yards and 2 touchdowns, did to the St. Joe's secondary what nobody had done all year, picked them apart. It's a St. Joe's guy up at Bosco with Newtile, the Hall of Famer, Jimmy Cavallo.
Frank, if you know Coach Toll, like we all know him, you know when it comes to football, there are 2 things that are most important to him. Winning.
Yeah, of course.
And winning. But inside of that, he loves championships, of course, and he's won 8 of them here at Don Bosco. But he also has a great affection towards Thanksgiving.
He loves Thanksgiving Day game.
He loves the tradition of it. And on that day at St. Joe's, even though your team was not playing for a championship, you were out of the playoffs, Coach Toll and your squad embraced it like a title game.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We really wanted this one badly. I mean, we missed a field goal. We felt what should have put us in the state championship. We had a great shot to win it. We hit that. So we were really wanting to go out on top, and all the guys really came together and said that we want to go on top, like knock off St. Joe's. That year they had a great team, always well coached by Coach Carthage and then Coach Hoffman. And we were really motivated to knock them off and like play the best game of our life and go out on top.
Yeah, there's nothing like bad memories to fuel a football team. And the year before on Thanksgiving, right here at Don Bosco, you guys were riding a 61-game win streak in the state of New Jersey. 61 games you had won straight in New Jersey. And they came in here and they outplayed you and they won the Thanksgiving game. I think you guys remembered that this year.
They beat us up real badly. I mean, we were really thinking about that a lot. Like, they broke the streak like you were talking about, and they really kind of just manhandled us offensively and defensively. We really couldn't do anything. So a lot of us really remembered that and couldn't wait to play them again. This is a game we circled on our calendar from the beginning of the year.
You know, you yourself had an interesting year this past season. You know, at one point it looked like you lost your status as the quarterback, but you got it back. And on this day on Thanksgiving, you threw for nearly 200 yards. You threw for 2 touchdowns. And you were the field general that everybody knows Frank Newtile is.
Yeah. So it felt good to go out on top like that, like show everyone like that. Even though I was hurt and stuff like that, and I had I had a bad half of football against DePaul, that I could still throw for like the big yards, win the game, and like be the leader that I am. And my teammates really helped me do that.
You know, when you look inside that day at St. Joe's, of course they were one of the top 10 teams in the country in the rankings. They had won 15 straight games. There were over 6,000 people here. It was on national TV. It was everything you want in a high school football game. And sometimes the only place you find it in North Jersey is with Bosco and Joe's and Bosco and Bergen and all that good stuff. And you guys were in control. And then they would take their first lead in the back half of the 3rd quarter. And Davon Ellison would return a kickoff and sort of put a whole lot of life back into the Ironman sideline.
Yeah, that was huge. That gave us a lot of momentum when Davon broke that. everyone was like really revitalized and like ready to go after that. And everyone was like, we got this game. Like we had to close them out right now. So that was a huge play and like really got us going.
And then, of course, the game winner. There's under 4 minutes left in the game. The game is tied at 21. You're inside the 10-yard line. And this is what we call a Division I quarterback to a Division I tight end kind of play. It was Newtile to Sweeney. Take us through that game-winning throw.
I mean, a lot of people don't know we ran the same thing against Bergen, too, in overtime, the same exact play. And so I told like Coach Drew, I was like, I really think we got this one right here. And he was thinking the same thing. So we went out there, we threw the Yukon G. So it's like he's running a double move where he's faking it out and going up. And I put it up there for him where only he could get it, like right over the linebacker's hands. And with his 6'5" frame, it's just easy to throw to him and like he could bring it down.
What a throw.
Yeah, it was a great play.
What a throw.
Great
What
play
a
all
play.
around. We had perfect time by the line and stuff like that, so it was great.
You know, we always say high school football is about memories. And even though you didn't win that championship in your senior year, you went out on a high note and you went out with a great memory in just an unbelievable Thanksgiving Day setting.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it's tough, like, thinking about we didn't win a championship our 2 years here, but it really was a great way to go out on top. Like, we'll always remember that, like, knocking off a top team in the nation, a top team in the state. So, I mean, it wasn't, like, the full, like, our goals, but it was still a good way to go out.
It was a landscape changer, that victory for Don Bosco on that day in the state of New Jersey. That's the quarterback, Frank Newtile, the Temple-bound quarterback. Good to see you, Frank.
Good to see you, too.
Franco, best of luck in Philly, my man. I'm going to miss you. He is a terrific, terrific young man from a great, great family. The postscript, St. Joe's would go on the next week and rout Pope John of Sparta in the non-public Group 3 championship. They just put on a show in that game, and that would mark the final high school football game for legendary coach Tony Karsich. After 38 years between Bergen Catholic and St. Joe's, he was stepping down after the season. Bergen County's all-time victories leader in wins, almost 350 to clear his career. I heard it, not a lot from Coach Karsich, but I did hear from a lot of people around St. Joe's that they finished number 3 in our final poll. That's okay. Paramus 1, Don Bosco 2, St. Joe's 3. Augie Hoffman now, the legendary lineman who played for Karsich, is now the new head coach. DePaul and St. Peter's Prep were the final top 5 in our tri-state top 25 poll. So let's see, we had 2 from Connecticut. We had 1 from New York City. We had 1 from New Jersey. Most people probably thought I would go the way of Jersey with that Don Bosco victory. One of the most overlooked position in sports and one of the most pressure-packed position in sports is being a kicker. And covering high school football for 27 years, I can count on one hand, and not use all the fingers either, about how many times I've seen or heard of a field goal with no time left in a high school football game to win it. That is a big deal. You put it in a championship, it becomes an even bigger deal. You play a double header at the same site, and the first game ends with a field goal with no time left to win it, and then the second game 3 hours later ends with a field goal with no time left to win it. Now you have the makings of a football event. The number 1 game, or let's say moment, in this year's Tri-State is the Nassau Conference 1 and 3 championships that were played at Hofstra the Saturday before Thanksgiving. The first game, Massapequa and Farmingdale. Farmingdale had a perfect 11-0 record on the line. Massapequa was down by as much as 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. That's why when they tied it, Zach Kolodny became a hero. Part 1 of number 1. Out we go to Hofstra University. Farmingdale up 6-0. Vinnie Quinn, what a competitor this kid is. To Tommy Kennedy, going to Bryant next year to play football and lacrosse. 57-yard touchdown, 12-0. Fourth quarter, Curtis Jenkins. Oh, man, he's got feet of a dancer. Look at him getting to the end zone. And he wasn't done. When Jenks rolled this one off from 63 yards in the fourth quarter, part of his 232-yard day on 27 carries. His third touchdown, you were like, that's it. This game is over. These Chiefs, they can play. Down 26-13, Jack Corber, 1-yard touchdown, makes it 26-20 after the extra point. Onside kick. Burge kicked it, Nicky Balzano recovered it, and all of a sudden, we had ourselves a ball game with time running out. Matty Caracappa flicks it out there to Corber, puts the brakes on, then with a cutback, goes in from 7 yards out. The extra point, no good. Here's your play of the game before the game-winning kick. I love Vinny Quinn. He's just a gamer. The pitch to Jenkins, that gets them in position for the game-winning field goal. Tied at 26, no time left. Kolodny is good from 32 yards, and the Dalers come off the field. The victors, Massapequa, a gallant effort, only to lose the game with no time left, 29-26, thanks to Kolodny's pressure field goal from 32 yards out, 29-26. Afterwards, you can imagine the guys in green were pretty happy.
You know, we practice this every week, the 2-minute drill, every Friday, and we've hit it every single practice. And, you know, this is where all that comes into place, and I knew that if the snap was there and the hole was there, I'd put it through.
Your coach, Buddy Krummenacker, who's a legend himself, said of you, Zach Kolodny, he's one of the best kickers in the history of Farmingdale football. At that moment, did you want that opportunity? Did you want the ball on your foot right there? When they got the ball in position, were you saying to yourself, I got what I want?
You know, honestly, I would rather have Curtis run it in because I don't want that on me. But, you know, if it absolutely came down to it like it did, I'll take the pressure.
That is one of the great answers that I've heard in 27 years. That was total honesty by Kolodny. You know, earlier this year, Lawrence had a 15-game win streak going. And then Plain Edge said, ho, 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 ho. Wait a second, Golden Tornadoes. This is going to be our year. And in the regular season, Plain Edge beat up on Lawrence 36-20. They would meet in the Conference 3 championship. Lawrence with that high-octane offense. One of the reasons you don't hear a lot about the kickers at Farmingdale and Lawrence is that their offense scores so many points, they're never in a position to need a field goal. Matter of fact, Lawrence hasn't been in a position to need a field goal since 2010. That was the last time they would attempt a field goal until Danny Reeskin put on a show, and his story is just an incredible one. A very, very fun Nassau Conference 3 champ is part 2 of number 1. Here we go, back out to Hofstra just a little while later. And if you haven't seen this kid, you will. He's only a junior. Jordan Fredericks just verbally committed to Syracuse. Here, 61-yard touchdown run, 233 yards and 3 touchdowns on the day. Lawrence was down 2 after that. Plain Edge can play. Gianfranco Sorienti, 46-yard run. This is an unbelievable touchdown run. 90 yards on the day. Plain Edge up 9. Fourth quarter now down 3. Joe Capobianco, known for his passing, going to run it in here to put Lawrence up 25-21. Just under 8 minutes left in the game. Plain Edge down by those 4. Not for long. Nick Fringer, what a career he had for Coach Shaver. Going to find Kevin Walker behind the secondary. 26-yard touchdown. They're up 27-25. But here, huge play. Capobianco, best throw he had in his career. Time running down on a 4th and 13 to Sean Moran, 43 yards. And here comes Danny Reeskin. His first attempt of the year, sneaks it through the left upright. Celebration. The Golden Tornadoes win back-to-back, well, 3 in a row, conference titles. And they would go on to win back-to-back Long Island championship games. Now, when you think of the talent at these schools, you got Jenkins, you've got so many wonderful players at Farmingdale, at Lawrence, Capobianco, Fredericks, all of them. But on this day, we bring in a couple of big feet. What's up, guys? Oh, actually, we talked to Reeskin after the game.
All the coaching staff was saying, Danny, get to the net. You have to warm up. Stay loose, stay loose. because it's pretty cold out here. You know, everyone's legs, everyone's bodies are cramping up a little bit, so they wanted to make sure I was keeping loose. And all of a sudden they're like, get away from the net. You know, you're probably gonna have to go for it. You might win the Nassau County Championship for us. So once Joe threw that last pass and I saw it go out of bounds, I knew he's sending me in there. So walked over, I grabbed my block. Everyone said, you know, Danny, I love you no matter what. You know, you got this. I didn't care what they were telling me. I knew I had it. So I didn't need my teammates to tell me that I got it because I knew I had it. I was confident, and I just put it through the uprights.
I like Danny Reeskin. He is a cool customer, and he is here with us today. So is Zach Kolodny. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
How you doing? Reeskin in the light blue, Kolodny in the dark blue. Danny, you're the senior. You're the old guy in this group here right now. What was it like? That game was on a Saturday. What was it like going into school on Monday morning?
It was kind of exciting, but at the same time I was a little nervous because I didn't want to get attacked by all the kids in my school. After the game, actually, all my social medias were getting blown up. My Twitter, my Facebook, my Instagram. Got about 100 followers on Twitter after the game. It was interesting because football is the big sport in my school. So playing soccer and running track for 4 years, and all of a sudden kicking football for one and becoming the most popular kid in school was something fun to experience.
It was pretty cool. We'll get back to more of you in just a second. Hey, Zach, I'll ask you the same question. You kicked it 3 hours earlier than Dano. When you went into school on Monday, what was that like?
Oh, it was crazy. I had all my friends coming up to me, all my teachers saying congratulations. I must have watched the kick about 10 times in every single one of my classes because all the teachers were all excited about it. And you know, it was great. Same thing with the social media and all that stuff. All the followers and people saying congrats and stuff. It was a great feeling.
I loved your answer about you wish Jenkins could have just run it in. At what part in that game did you start thinking it may come down to a kick for me?
When Craig Burrs missed his extra point, when they went out for that PAT, I was sitting next to Vinny, and my heart just dropped. And then when he missed it, I was like, wow, it's going to come down to it. I knew it was going to. Everyone was telling me. And I remember pushing everybody away. I was like, don't come over here. I just want to think it over and kick into the net by myself. And that's what we did.
Dano, when you look back, because you're in a unique situation, because you play soccer, you only practice with the football team a little bit. You'd run over, do your kicking, get back to the soccer field. Did you had a moment during the season, you told me earlier, where you hit a 57-yarder in practice, and if you missed it, the team was going to have to run, and you weren't going to be there. To me, that might be more pressure than the pressure you faced against Plain Edge that day.
Yeah, during the practice for the 57-yarder, I don't run with the football team. I don't lift weights with the football team. I would go for about 20 to 30 minutes before my soccer practice, and actually while my soccer team was warming up, stretching, passing the ball around, I would run over with or without my pads to the football practice, and I would kick a few field goals, a few extra points, and a few kickoffs. So that particular day was, it might have been a Tuesday or a Wednesday, so that's pretty much when you get the hard work going because you don't have a game for another 3 days. And my coach was pretty much bringing the ball back every time I made a field goal. So it came to about the hour 45, so it was, I guess, a 55-yarder. And he said, all right, can you hit it from here? So I said, I think so. So I kicked it and I made that one. And then he said, let's try bringing it back another yard. So I said, no, let's bring it back another 2 yards. He said, if you hit this, then the team doesn't have to run, but I'll give you 3 tries. First try, I hit it, and I hit the bottom rail of the goalpost. So that happened. Everyone's like, Reeskin, it's okay, just relax. Second one was wide left. So I was down to the third one. So once again, there was a lot of pressure. And I look at the sideline, and I see everyone covering their eyes, crossing their fingers. And I kind of waited for a little gust of wind to come, I'm not going to lie. And they snapped it. Sean had a good hold. I hit it, and it went straight up the middle. And just like for the NCC, everyone started running out, hugging me and stuff, because I guess running's a big deal for them. I don't mind running. But so it was fun. And I think actually it was kind of a bonding experience with the team because I don't really spend a lot of time with them. So for me to do that and to feel the love from the team was nice.
Coach Martellotti, when Jimmy Cavallo and I met with him that week leading up to the game, we went out to school. I asked him, given the opportunity to kick a game-winning field goal, if you're behind, will you kick or will you go for it? He goes, no, we're not kicking. When did you, and I asked this to Zach, when did you get an idea that he was going to trot you out there?
Well, me not being a football guy, I don't exactly know how to read the game. So usually you'll see me sitting on the sideline on one knee with my helmet off on the floor, and I'll sit there, I'll joke around with the guys and do what I need to do, especially considering Lawrence hasn't gone for field goal in 4 years. So once they, Plain Edge actually scored their last touchdown, people started saying, oh, Reeskin, you should warm up. It was really cold that night. So I wasn't usually one to warm up. I would sit on the sideline, like I said, talk to my friends, drink water, joke around, and people started telling me to warm up. So I was like, okay, I'll kick a little bit just so I could feel my legs and they're not numb anymore. So I walk over to the net and kick the ball about 3 times, and I was like, okay, I'm warmed up, I'm good. So I walk away, and people in the crowd were saying, Danny, it's okay, you got it. But it still didn't hit me that it could come down to that. Once Joe threw the pass to Sean Moran, that's when I knew for a fact that I was going to have to go for the kick, because I was looking at my coach Mott and he was looking at me. So once I made that eye contact, I knew that he was sending me out there, which was a shock to me. He comes over to me and he says, Danny, can you do it? And I was like, yeah, I got it. Just run onto the field like it was nothing, like I was just going for another extra point. All my teammates on the sideline are putting their arms around me, telling me it's okay, you know, we love you no matter what. I go out to the field, and Sean says, just do what you got to do, and then all the line is telling me the same thing the sideline was telling me. So I said, guys, like, relax. Snap comes, goes in. I didn't think it went in, to be honest, and saw the ref's hands go up, and that's when I just turned around, started running, and tried to take my helmet off, but my chin strap was still on, so I couldn't get it off. And it was awesome. But yeah, when Joe threw the pass is when it really hit me.
Hey, Zach, I'll ask you, Dan just talked about when everybody starts running at you. What is that feeling like after you hit a game-winning field goal? Where, I mean, you got some 300-pound dudes running at you now.
Yeah, first of all, I'm not the biggest guy, so they were a lot bigger than me.
No, listen, buddy, I asked that to Zach.
Oh, to Zach, oh, that's you.
Well, what happened was I had kicked the ball, and me and my holder, right after I kicked it, we knew that it was going to go through. It was right down the middle, and I knew that it was just like a little chip shot, even with the wind. And our hands went straight up, and we just started running. I kind of followed him, and then everybody just started running at us. And then next thing I know, my defensive end kind of just grabbed me, and then everyone just came and started smacking my helmet and stuff. It's kind of rough being in the middle of all of it, but it was awesome.
You'll take it, though. Had you ever been touched by an opponent during the season, or was that the first time you were hit all year?
No, I had a few tackles on kickoffs. I love trying to go up there and make the tackle. Even though we had a very good kickoff team, we would make a lot of tackles, so I wouldn't have to really ever make the tackle.
Well, you got to kick off a lot this year because you guys scored so many touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, we scored a lot of touchdowns. I got to kick off a lot. But, you know, there was a few bad snaps that game on punts, and one of them, Andy Rodgers just happened to swing by, and I got the kickoff, but he laid a pretty good hit on me, and it hurt pretty badly.
Hey, so now you have 5 career field goals, and now it gets fun because you've won a game in a pressure situation, and now you're going around to colleges trying to get these guys interested in you. So I know you're going to visit Rutgers. Give us the update. What's the recruiting been like? It's a very difficult position for colleges to recruit. They don't like to offer money right away. What's your mindset right now with college?
Right now, I got my trainer, Luke Gaddis, out of one-on-one kicking, and I'm pretty much sitting back and just practicing. I train multiple times a week, letting him do his thing with the colleges. Send out a lot of stuff to every single college I can, whatever email I could get. I'll send all types of clips out to them, and we just wait until someone sends an email, and then I'll have my trainer set it up, he's really good with all that stuff.
When your mom watches the highlight back, is she still nervous?
She's always just sitting back and smiling. I know what's going through her mind, but she doesn't really say it. She's more happy now than nervous because it happened.
I love it. Hey, Dano, when you woke up the next morning and you saw the cover of Newsday, were you glad you didn't look down right before you swung your foot through the kick? That was a pretty wild cover shot on Newsday. Take a look at this picture. He's not holding the ball.
Yeah. It's funny that you should bring up the Newsday cover because actually during that whole week of practice, all my coach Matt was saying to Sean Moran was, don't let go of the ball, don't let go of the ball. And he didn't hear the end of it. Kids in school would say, Sean, what'd you do? Why'd you let go of the ball? So I always trusted Sean, but after seeing that, I was a little iffy because my foot is pretty far from the ball and he's already let go of it and it's pretty much falling off of the block. So after seeing that cover, everyone, including myself, was very surprised I made the kick. So I really didn't have words for Sean. I just said to Sean, I said, look, it happened, but don't let it happen again.
Buddy, you'll head off to Albany as the two-time athlete of the year at Lawrence High School. Will you bring that ugly cleat of yours, the cleat that no kicker in America would even think to put on? Your cleat was falling apart. You had it taped up, right?
Yeah, it was actually my soccer cleat. I had the blue and gold. It had my name and my soccer number on it. And it was comfortable to kick the football with, so I didn't have to buy any new cleats. And during a soccer game once, I guess I must have dragged my foot the wrong way, and from the whole side seam from my toe to about the ball of my foot ripped. So I bought a new pair of soccer cleats, and when I kicked the football with it, it didn't feel right, so I had to use my old cleats. So I kept those in my football locker, and I kept my soccer cleats in my soccer locker. And as the season kept going on, they were just ripping more and more. I was using more and more tape, taping it sideways, up and down, using medical tape, duct tape, any kind of tape I could use. And they lasted me throughout the season, but I would donate them to the school if they want to keep it in the showcase.
They should put those cleats, they should mount that cleat on a plaque and put it in the athletic awards room for sure, absolutely. Well, guys, you're the reason that this was the #1 football moment of the year. 2 kicks with no time left to win championship games. Danny, we wish you the best of luck up north at the University of Albany. Congratulations. Thank you for the memories. Zach, we'll see you out on the fields come the fall. All right, partner?
Yep, sounds good.
All right, guys. Best of luck. Unbelievable. The Sasquatch moment of the year, Bigfoot, rolled into Nassau County on November 23rd. Just absolutely sensational. So that's it. 5 games. 2 from Connecticut, 1 from the city, 1 from New Jersey, and 2 games make up the #1 moment of the year. Game-winning kicks from Nassau County to win championship games. Just like that, football will be back. Our quick hits of the 2014 football season, they will debut. We'll go throughout the tri-state like we do every single year. We have our Super 6 show. These are the football shows. We'll do a top 5 basketball, a top 5 lacrosse, then we'll throw them in a hopper. We'll figure out what were the 6 biggest games of the year. Good chance the 2 games that we just talked about will be in the overall Super 6 at the end of the year. Remember, social media, get involved. I don't want to hear from Amanda. She's very, very tough. Tell us about what you think of our top 5 by tweeting us at MSGVarsity_varsity. And you better use the hashtag MSGV_top5. Give us some good stuff, and if it's some good tweets, we'll retweet it and make you as famous, well, not as famous as Zach and Danny, but we will get you out there for sure. The #1 game always gets special treatment, so we leave you on our top 5 football games of the year. The 2 guys that kicked Farmingdale and Lawrence into championship seasons. We'll see everybody. Have a great summer.
To send the dealers to the Long Island Championship. What a moment here. The game will end on this play in all probability. From 32, Kolodny has the distance. Kolodny has done it! Spot, snap, kick. Dan is the man! Dan the man does it! Reeskin drills it, and it's over! He absolutely nailed it, and he deserves the victory ride he is getting right now.